Hello, spider friends. This is a little different to how I would normally do videos, but that's purely because of the nature of what it is I am doing here. I am rehousing a bunch of spiders all at once, so I decided to take priority on getting the footage, but in a safe way, instead of risking a spider going away and running away. So the first one that I'm rehousing is my Cyriocosmus Perezmilesi, Olivia, Bolivian Dwarf Beauty. There was nothing particularly wrong with the enclosure size. It's simply that because I got these new enclosures that are so much better. They're so easy to stack, and I much prefer the design. She is a dwarf species, so she really doesn't actually need anything bigger than what she has. Which I think is a decent size enclosure for her particular species. And this was a very, very easy rehouse for me because she was just clinging onto that little bit of decoration, and I just moved her over, refilled the water bowl, and it was pretty much as easy as that with Olivia. She's always been a really decent spider. The only problem I had with her is the one time that she ran up in my hair and I had to get her out, which was not that much fun, if I'm being honest with you. Some of the footage is speeded up and some of it isn't. That's just to sort of go through the boring parts of it. Here was me attempting to transfer her label, and then in the end what I just did was I got some masking tape because I couldn't find my roll of labels. The next spider I am doing is the Colonel. The Colonel is I can never say this. Haploclastus Nilgrinius, a dark mustard, and that's why it's called the Colonel. That is an old world species. I don't see him very much because he is always buried in the base of his enclosure, which makes things difficult sometimes knowing whether or not he's eaten, because he's also a redecorator. He likes to redecorate, and I'm sure by tomorrow it will be a completely different setup to what I've actually put in there. But again, this was an easy transfer because all I did was found the web sack that he was in and moved that sack over to his new enclosure once I'd absolutely made sure he was actually in it, which was a bit difficult because he's a bit of a heavy webber, but only under the substrate, which is very annoying basically. So I just moved over the big web sack and then closed the lid and put the lid on the old enclosure just in case. And once I had the lid on, as you'll be able to see, I just did a check with the tweezers and a paintbrush, made sure he was in the web sack, and then left him to it. He's going to need a new hide though. I've got some pieces of corkback somewhere that I've got to dig out for him. And hopefully, maybe I'll see more of him, but you never know. Now I'm moving on to my Acanthascurria geneticulata daisy, Brazilian giant white knee. This was a very, very easy one to do because I was moving her over into Carmen's old enclosure. Carmen sadly died after molting into a mature male. I thought he'd been fine. Then I found him in death curl and already dead, and I was absolutely devastated, but I'm going to have him preserved. He's currently in my freezer, which my mother's not too happy about. But Daisy was very, very easy to rehouse because literally all I had to do was lift up her hide and then put it into the new enclosure, which was already set up quite perfectly for an agen, and then put the lid on, and that was it really. It was basically done. And again, there was nothing particularly wrong with the size of enclosure that she was in, but it's just the one that Carmen was in is better for stacking because the lid's totally flat. At this point now, I'm doing Clancy, my Tarantulas marinus, my OBT, red colourform. I'm a bit nervous about doing this one because I haven't seen Clancy in a while, and his food had been disappearing, but I wasn't sure if it was actually being eaten or not, or if it was just running away and hiding. So here I have the fun job of trying to find an OBT in all of that webbing. And you may remember it wasn't that long ago that I had to destroy his webbing to get his molt out of the enclosure, and it totally webbed the whole thing up again in the interim. But yeah, it was not fun. It was quite nerve-wracking going through all of that webbing and trying to find where the OBT was. And luckily I managed to find him, which was great, and get the lid on, which I'm sure you'll enjoy watching. So I will leave you to enjoy the rest of this without my babbling. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave me an internet thumbsy upsy and ring the notification bell if you want to know when I'm live streaming, because I tend to live stream rather than upload, and then you'll know when I'm doing it. So, yep, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.